Beautiful. Now, pertaining to what you talked about earlier, how would that make the lives of the city of Elizabeth better?
Well, two things. What the Coast Guard does on the waterway, and I'm going to separate it for the safety aspect and the security aspect. The safety aspect, how it makes the lives of the citizens of Elizabeth better, is that we ensure to protect not just the environment, however, also the individuals as well who use the waterway for recreational use. We live in a mixed-use harbor where you have commercial vessels that needs the deep channels to transit and bring all the goods in that we use, the goods that go to the merchants that the citizens of Elizabeth shop at or they work at. So we do have a definite impact for the economic well-being of Elizabeth, the merchants and the merchandise that come in. Mm-hmm. Now, as a recreational use, we also try to balance the commercial use of the waterway with the recreational use of the waterway. And for that reason, also the safety restrictions or the safety standards we set that also help keep the individuals safe. And for instance, not just talking about the buoys we set up, we also have certain areas that we patrol, whether it be a limited access area because it's a petroleum facility where we don't want a boater going too close to that facility because of the deep draft vessels, that they may get sucked under one of the deep draft vessels. So for safety reasons, that also. And going back to the environmental, you have these deep draft vessels that's transiting petroleum product. And sometimes, not often, but sometimes there may be marine casualties where oil gets in the water unintentionally. They would radio, the Coast Guard would respond. They would put up booms to protect not just the environment and try to get that oil out of the water, but also the individuals who are working there, try to save them so that they don't come in contact with that hazard. So that's on the safety side. On the security side, because of the petroleum carrying tankers, you have it's basically an opportunity for people who would want to do us harm, would say, isn't that something easy to target at?
Right.
It's really a visible target. So you have, we do patrols with the locals to ensure that the security of these facilities are intact and that it's properly maintained. And that also benefits Elizabeth, because I believe the security of Elizabeth and the citizen also depends on these facilities remaining secure from the water side as well as the land side.
Okay. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the second half of our city, okay? We'll be back after these words. Thank you. Welcome back to the second half of our city. Joining me today is the Coast Guard, and we have some great individuals here. And I want to ask each one of you, and I'll start up with you, Elizabeth, what have you seen or done in the Coast Guard that has been unique and exciting?
I'll tell you, I could go on forever about some of the cool things I've done. One of the most awesome things I've done was traveling. I didn't really travel much outside of New Jersey growing up, so I've been to almost every country or island in the Caribbean. I've been to Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico, Belize, Colombia, all over, which is a really incredible experience. As I was able to, they trained me to drive a Coast Guard cutter. I was on a 210-foot ship down in the Caribbean, and that's exciting. All hours, day and night, under all different circumstances. Chasing drug runners, we did quite a bit of that. People smuggling, illegal fishery operations. I was on a small boarding team. It's usually a 3 to 5 member boarding team that goes from our larger ship on a small boat out to other vessels that we see out in the area that are suspicious for whatever reason. And we go on board and we check, make sure they're in compliance with all federal and international regulations, depending on what they are and what our jurisdiction is. But we look for the safety of the ships, and that was very exciting, checking all the different gear and the operations that a lot of other folks out there on the water down in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico were doing. One in particular, about 70 miles off the coast of Miami, we did a small boat chase. It was about a 2.5 hour chase in the middle of the night. Our boat's a small boat chase? Small boat. Our boat was about 25 feet, an completely open console, chasing another about 30-foot pleasure craft that actually was a wanted smuggler, smuggling about 8 people in from various islands in the Caribbean, and he had been wanted by the FBI for some time. So that was a very, very, very exciting moment in the middle of the night, chasing the those folks. It's indescribable on a lot of levels. So I've been very lucky.
Lieutenant William George, share some of your experiences.
Similar to Liz, I think I've had like a varied Coast Guard experience, and I was just thinking back, she's actually on the boat, I'm on the phone. This is what doing was my duty as a lawyer for the Coast Guard. For all these boat chases and migrant smugglers or drug smugglers, at some point they would call a lawyer on the phone, and there's a lawyer somewhere, and it's usually after midnight.
It was after midnight. I'm sorry.
That's why you look sleepy.
And you're ensuring that they're following all the procedures, policies, and laws so that everything is being done properly, and that just took me back to that. But for myself, first I'll start off with I've been in the New Jersey, New York area for about a year now. Actually, this month will make it a year, and prior to that, I did live in New York, but I took it for granted, and all the marine events that occur, I never gave it a second thought of who actually was behind the scene and that make it happen. And now I'm in that position, the permitting and the processing of the permits for marine events. And for some of the big events, I think a few weeks ago we had the Red Bull Air Race, and I could see basically how the sausage is made in the background of all the action that's take place to get one of those events to go off smoothly and safely. So I'd say that, the upcoming Macy's Day event, and mostly like the fireworks that you see and that happens on the shore, that actually requires a Coast Guard permit so that they can occur. And you actually have a lot of people in the background, a lot of Coast Guard members, local law enforcement that meet and discuss these issues to ensure that the event occurs safely. Going back to when I worked in Miami in District 7 as a lawyer, one job that I did get, and I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity any other way, was I went to West Africa for about 2 weeks. I think we did it with the Navy, and it was basically to do a course on international maritime law with West African nations from Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria. I think there were a few other countries I actually visited, stopped in with other military members from those countries, and that was a lifetime experience for myself. And everything else I've done in the Coast Guard, I think every day there's a new challenge, and that's one thing I could recommend about the Coast Guard. Every day is a challenge. It's not a job that you get bored with. So when you come in, it's not like, oh, geez, I have to go into work again. You're like, you just know that there would be a new challenge as soon as you enter the building in the morning. So that's one of the things I appreciate about the Coast Guard.
Okay.